Changing the battery on the T1 is a relatively simple thing to do. It's a little bit fiddly, and this video will show you how to get into the guts of the machine and change the battery. But remember, before you change the battery, you're going to lose all the sounds. So if you've got stuff on your T1 you want to keep, remember to back it up to a disk or sys it off the machine, and also have a way of restoring it the other side. Now I'm going to use, for the purposes of this video, the factory restore disk for doing my restore for the T1. I also have a policy when I buy a new keyboard, I always tend to flash it back to the factory settings anyway. The reason for that is at least I know when I start working with the keyboard what my base point is. If somebody else has changed settings and you're unaware of what they've changed, sometimes trying to troubleshoot an issue with the way the keyboard is set up can be particularly difficult. So this is how you change the battery, and then I'll show you how to restore the factory sounds. Once you get inside the Korg T1, changing the battery is relatively easy-ish. The reason I use the word ish is because in order to do that you have to take the motherboard out, because the battery is on the underside of the motherboard. It's on that side of the motherboard, and it's not on the top side of the motherboard. Now, to remove the motherboard, there are a series of screws you need to take out. Now I've already started that process, but there is a screw here, there is a screw here holding this cable tie. If I zoom the camera over slightly, there are then 3 screws there, there and there. There's only one in at the moment because I've taken these 2 out. There's another screw there. Just to make it a little bit more complicated, there is also, you also need to take the memory board out, which is 2 screws there and 2 screws there. Once you can get that out, you can get the battery out. So I'm going to unscrew these screws and I'll show you how to change the battery. Okay, all the screws are now out of the motherboard. So the motherboard comes back towards the keyboard and then can be rotated. Being mindful of these metal things that stick out, as they will cause you some problems if you don't deal with them, and the ribbon connectors. So if we then take that, move that to one side. There we have the Korg motherboard. Now I'm going to change the camera angle so you can see what I'm doing on the motherboard. This ribbon connector here is the ribbon connector to the disk drive. This ribbon connector here is the connector to the display. The one next to it is the connector to the audio in and outs. Then we move along this way. This ribbon connector here is the ribbon connector to the buttons on the control board that are at the front of the keyboard. And if we then move again over here, this ribbon connector here is to the memory board, and there is the massive 8 meg of memory that this keyboard has. If I can go back this way, are a series of processors, as you can see, all of them Korg 87404, which I have no idea what they are, but I assume they're some sort of RISC processor. And then these ROM chips here are actually the operating system, I think, if memory serves me correctly. But that's not what we're here for. What we're actually here for is to change the battery. And the battery is there. And it's in this little grey holder. It's relatively easy to get out. So the secret for removing the battery is to push the battery forward, and it should then flip up, and then use the other side to just pop it out. So there you go, there's the battery. Now this is a standard CR2032 battery, which you can pick up from a local auto store because it's what they put in the key fobs of most cars. It's also what's in most keyboards as well. So if you go and buy one of those, if it costs you more than about £2 or £3 or $3, you're being ripped off. So I'm going to put a new one of those in, which I have over here. I'll just go and get it. Okay, so here's the new battery. Now, one of the other things I would say about batteries is, this is a Duracell, is always buy a good brand of battery. Don't buy the cheapest battery you can get. I'm just taking the protective layer off, because you want this battery to last for a long period of time. So the battery goes in like so, just pop it in with the writing upwards, and then you just push it into place like so. That's all you need to do to change the battery. Now you just reassemble the board the way you took it out. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to start with the keyboard switched off. So we switch the keyboard on and just refocus on the display. There you go. Now everything is done from the display apart from putting it into disk mode. So disk mode is set from this button over here, and the display changes to show disk mode. Now I'm going to put the disk into the disk drive like so, and I'm going to select the all data, which is the first one on the screen, and I'm going to press the G button to load it. Am I sure? Press E. And that's how quick it takes to load the data. So now if we go and look at my combis, there's my combi, Cosmic Rain. Go and look at my programs, there's my program. There's my B programs. The sequencer has songs in it. We're all good to go. I've been told it helps the channel out greatly if you hit the like button if you enjoyed the contents of this video. If you want to be notified about future videos that may be made for the channel, please hit the subscribe button.